Captain's log.
Han Solo. I'm Captain of the Millennium Falcon.
This is Captain Jean-Luc Picard of the Federation starship Enterprise.
Priority 1 message from Starfleet coming in on secured channel.
You're listening to Captain's Logs and Lightsabers.
Hey, welcome to Captain's Logs and Lightsabers. We are the podcast that discusses both Star Trek and Star Wars and several other geeky topics. My name is Jonathan, and as you can see, I'm joined by my co-host for tonight, who's laying on my shoulder here, and you might be able to hear her through my mic. This is Padme. But if you've never listened to our show before, you'd think she is my co-host, but that's actually not the case. My co-host, Chris, is our usual co-host for Captain's Logs and Lightsabers, so I'm gonna ask him how he's doing, because you guys can see clearly how I'm doing right now. So, what's up, Chris?
I'm doing quite well. I can see you have your hands full right now. But that's the best way of having them full, you know?
Very much. So, for those of you who have never listened to our show before, like I said, we do discuss both Star Trek and Star Wars. But we are actually part of a brand new Fandom podcast network and full of geeky content. We have we have social media, we have YouTube, we have podcast feed, but we are part of the Feast of Fandoms network now. And Feast of Fandoms has a lot of your favorite shows from content creators that you are very familiar with if you've listened to our show in the past. We have MCU Mondays, the Cantina Happy Hour, the War of the Stars podcast, as well as the Geek Gauntlet podcast. And like I said, if you've been listening to us for a while, you've definitely heard some of the hosts of those shows create some content with us. So we are happy to be part of Feast of Fandoms along with them. But the thing about Feast of Fandoms is we are about geeky content for all. Tabletop games, Dungeons and Dragons, other pen and paper RPGs, tabletop, board games, party games, anything like that. Comics, sci-fi, pop culture. Whatever fandom you're into, it's part of Feast of Fandoms. So we're always going to be looking for new content to add. We've got additional podcasts coming soon, more short-form content like 60-second movie reviews, Lego builds, and much, much more. So you'll be able to see all of our socials in the show notes for this episode. So make sure you go and give each one of them a follow. And yeah, we're happy to be part of Feast of Fandoms. And I see we've had a fourth co-host join us here.
Yeah, this is Cotton. She'll be in and out, guaranteed. Always stomping around.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, there you
go. All right. So, Chris, we used to do a little segment before we got into our show topic. We used to call it How Did You Geek This Week? But we figured with a new network, we should come up with a new name. So we settled on Fandom Frontier. So where did you explore your fandom this week, Chris?
All right. Well, I didn't explore any fandom this week. It goes back to the previous week. So 2 Saturdays ago, I went with my Star Trek club from Starfleet International, the USS Stella Parada, and we went with another Starfleet ship, the USS Katherine Johnson, out in Maryland. And we went to the Antietam National Battlefield, where a battle for the Civil War actually happened. So we got to see the actual battlefield. We got to go to one of the farmhouses that was turned into a headquarters and then a field hospital. We actually got to see actual medicine bottles and tools that they used with the injured soldiers and what they would actually use to get rid of amputations. They would cut off the limbs and stuff. So that was really interesting. Got to hear the whole history of everything. At one point, we went into this big tower that they had that overlooked the whole battlefield from back in the day. And everybody knows those stupid lantern flies have been flying around all summer. Well, there was a big nest of them at the very tip top where you were at. So they were coming down and they were attacking us while we were taking pictures.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it was some of the crew members got a little disgusted by it, but and it just made us want to go back down pretty quickly. But we had a really good time. It's always a good time when we find another chapter of Starfleet International and we kind of do cross activities together. So that was an absolute blast for us to do. So in the last month, we had 3 actual activities. We went to see Beetlejuice at the beginning of September, which was excellent. Then a week after that, we went to the Renaissance Festival for Pittsburgh. And then 2 weeks after that was Antietam. So we're probably going to take it a little easier this month. So we're planning to go see Wicked in November as a crew. So that'll be fun. But other than that, the only other thing I'm really trying to prepare for is my wife and I are going to the Star Trek convention in New Jersey from Creation Entertainment. That's November 8th through 10th in Secaucus, New Jersey. So I'm going to be trying to get some footage up there, pictures, things like that. I've also been saving with a lot of my paper co-pays that my clients give me. I've been putting money aside. I'm going to be trying to get about between 10 to 14 photo ops.
Nice.
There are so many good people coming, so I've been saving the last few months.
Yeah, who are you hoping to get some photo ops with?
Well, so Jonathan Frakes will be there.
Nice.
Marina Sirtis is going to be there. Oh, boy. Terry Metalis was actually going to be there and offer pictures, but he had to cancel. There's a whole list of them. Robin Curtis is one of them. J.G. Hertzler, Jeffrey Combs, Casey Biggs. Let's see, who else? Michael Dorn is another one. I haven't gotten a photo with him yet, so that'll be a good one. There are some people there that I've already gotten photo ops with. It's just I have to. There's just so many right now that I'm trying to get that I can't remember every name. But I'm hoping to get a nice group of them.
Yeah,
since it's an actual pure convention. Like going to Steel City Con, they don't really have any Star Trek actors, and it's hard to get them. So this will be nice, a good opportunity.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of names that you hear if you're familiar with the Star Trek convention scene. A lot of them do go to a lot of shows, or they're on. They'll go to Star Trek the Cruise, or they'll go to just events all around. But it's a shame that I would love to meet J.G. Hertzler. Like that would be really cool because he just seems like he'd be a lot of fun to meet.
He is. When Brandy and my wife and I have gone to Star Trek Las Vegas 3 times, and the one in 2016 and 2019, he and Robert O'Reilly, who played Gowron on the different shows, they actually hosted the Star Trek karaoke nights. And J.G. Hertzler would really be getting into it, and he would grab random items and pretend he was playing a guitar, like a broom or a mop or something like that. Somebody even gave him a batleth that was like rainbow painted or something.
Yeah.
It was really cool. So he is very down to earth and a lot of fun.
Nice.
So, so they'll be hosting that again, I believe, at the convention. So it'll be fun.
And Creation used to do the Las Vegas, or do they still do the Las Vegas one?
They still do, but CBS, I don't know what happened, if CBS cut the licensing or what. So it's not the official convention anymore. So they call it Trek to Las Vegas or something like that. Like this one's Trek to New Jersey.
The automatic feeder went off, so Padme's gone.
Oh. So the one thing that'll take her out of your arms is that
it's food. Yep.
Gone.
Yep. She couldn't leave fast enough.
I know.
All right. So yeah, you've definitely had a lot of things that you've been doing to keep occupied. I mean, it has been quite a while since we recorded. It's been like 5 months. So
we have tried, ladies and gentlemen. We really have. It's just been a lot of different things with family and work and stuff like that.
Life just gets in the way sometimes. It
always does.
Everything you want to do. Yeah. So I guess how did I explore my fandoms? So last Saturday, Kylie and I went to a show in Pittsburgh called The Empire Strips Back.
Okay.
It's a Star Wars inspired burlesque show. Yeah, it was kind of interesting. It was like 8 or so sequences over 2 hours within like it was an hour act, or first act was an hour, second act was an hour, and basically it was like 8 or 9 routines and just different women dressed in Star Wars inspired costumes, and it was a burlesque show, so there was dancing and pop, and music and a little bit of skin being shown. It was a lot of fun. It's a traveling show. I guess it travels all around the US, and I kept seeing Facebook ads for it, so I'm like, okay, why not? Let's do something different. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was in a very small theater in near Shadyside, I believe.
Okay. Okay. So it wasn't in the cultural district.
Right. Yeah, it wasn't one of the big theaters that we're used to going to. Like, it wasn't Heinz Hall or the Benedum Center or anything. Yeah, it was a little bit further away from that, but yeah, it was a nice little quaint theater. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was it was something different. I guess I don't know. I don't think I would ever go again, but it was fun to experience for for a one and done
Yeah, there you go.
experience. It was enjoyable enough for a night out. What else have I done recently? Oh, I did see the new Joker movie, which very different than the first one. Have you seen Joker from 2019?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's excellent.
Yeah. The first one is excellent. The second one is different. It's a musical.
Mm-hmm.
It's part musical, part courtroom drama, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but at times it worked. I wouldn't say it was a good movie. It definitely took a lot of interesting chances. Not all of them paid off. And I know a lot of people are really upset at how the movie ended. So it's still relatively new, so I don't think we're ready for spoiler territory yet. But
that's fair.
It's a bit of a shocking ending. Definitely something that a lot of people were not expecting, which I think is part of the outrage.
Okay. Now, I haven't seen it yet. I did read about it online, though. Is it fair to ask if you think there'll be a third one, or do you think it's done?
I'm fairly certain that the writer and director has come out and said that they don't plan to do a third one.
Okay, so it's wrapped up.
They've done all that they wanted to do, I guess. They've played in this world long enough.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Okay.
But yeah, it definitely was. It's a totally different tone from the first movie, which I think threw a lot of people off, and definitely threw off critics, because critics didn't like it. Audiences who are very, very it's not very positive from either media or media or audiences. So yeah.
And it's a shame too, because people were really excited about this movie coming out, and it's a shame that it didn't meet the expectations. But I mean, sometimes you're not going to meet everybody's expectations.
That's right.
It goes back to that whole thing of you have to individually, whether you like it or not. You have to just for yourself.
Yep. Yeah, if you want to hear my immediate thoughts, I did do a 60-second review for Feast of Fandoms for our TikTok and our YouTube, so you can go check that out. And while you're there, like and subscribe to those channels. We'd appreciate it. Yeah, so Chris, since it's been a very long time since we recorded, there's been a lot that's happened. We had a Star Wars show come and go, airing all 6 episodes over the summer in June. It was, speaking of divisive, I don't know. I don't think Joker was nearly as divisive as the Acolyte was, is it?
No. Oh, I don't think so.
So yeah, Star Wars: The Acolyte. We have not had a chance to record our thoughts on the show. So I figured we would take a few minutes and see what we can come up with, or take a few minutes and see what you thought of it. So what if you could pick 2 or 3 things that you liked about the Acolyte, and from a season perspective, what would you say they were?
Well, first, I really liked the different sets that they had with the ships. They looked like, I mean, obviously this was 100 years before. Visually, I think that the show looked very, very good. The sets looked really nice. It looked like a continuity with the ships and the technology. The characters actually, a lot of people have said that they were bland and boring. I actually thought that the characters were very interesting. The Jedi Master Soul I thought was really interesting. But also, the fact was with these Jedi, they were kind of corrupt. It kind of seemed like they're not your typical Jedi that always seemed like they were out for justice and they were hiding things. And I'm trying to figure out how I want to word all this, but they just didn't. They were sneaky and manipulative. Hiding the death of the was it the one mother
Mother Anastasia, yeah.
Mother Anastasia, yeah, exactly. So, yeah, it was just a different spin on the Jedi, just hiding stuff. And maybe that has kind of led into some of that corruption and stuff that was going on they were talking about in the prequels. It kind of led to the downfall of the Republic. I don't know. Maybe that was a piece of it.
Yeah, that's definitely a part of it. I think that was very deliberate in showing that. And I think that was one of the big, one of the purposes of the show was to try and portray a side of the Jedi that, that paints them as corrupt. But, at the same time, were they really that corrupt? Star Wars has always been about perspective, right? And depending on who's telling the story, the different sides may be painted out to be the heroes and the villains. You saw a lot of that from May's perspective, and then you saw it from Asha's perspective, and just because they were essentially two different personalities, and Asha was much more open to the light. She was a fan of the Jedi. She respected the Jedi for what she had heard about them, where May, she didn't have that respect for the Jedi. She saw them for something completely different. I thought that duality and that way at looking at each of them in a differently was, it could have been the strongest part of the series, but I think it turned out to be one of the weaker elements. Okay. I would have loved to see a little bit more from May's perspective, I think, and a little bit more of her, how she got to where she was before the show, why. I don't know. I just don't think that we got enough time with either character to really understand how their motivations took, what their motivations were,
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. See what else? I also, I think that was another part that I really did like about the show, was seeing the twins and their reactions, one to the light, one toward the dark. But I think my favorite part of the whole series was the villain. There was something really, what did they call him? The Stranger?
The Stranger, yeah. And then what was, I can't even think, Kamir? Kamir was the name, the familiar name that he went by.
Yes. So if I remember correctly, he was in the Jedi Order at one point too, right? And then he left.
Yeah. I don't know what happened to him. You kind of get the impression that he was betrayed, or, he was, he had all those scars on his back, and it kind of looked like they were created by the light whip that Vernestra Rowe, the green character, used, that her weapon. It looked a lot like lashes from her weapon. So, and you could tell that when there was a brief moment in one of the episodes where they met face to face, and they recognized each other. Did you miss that?
I probably missed it. It's been, how long has it been? It's been what? When did that show come out? June through July. Yeah. Yeah. So it's been a while since I've watched it. So I probably missed that part. It wouldn't surprise me if they tied that whip into some sort of injury or some sort of relationship that they had, but I don't know. It just seemed like a very interesting character. I wanted to see more of, like, didn't we see, there was a in the final episode, it was
yes,
Darth Bane. Is that who it was?
No, that was Darth Plagueis.
Plagueis, that's right, Plagueis.
Yes. Or wait,
okay, yeah.
Or no, was it?
I think it was Plagueis.
Yeah, I think
Bane,
it was.
Was farther back. Now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, I think it was Plagueis that we saw very briefly.
Yes, it is supposed to be. Yeah,
yeah. So we saw him for a second. Of course, in the season finale, that's a teaser that they were going to hopefully carry on something going forward. That would have been really interesting to see what that was all about, how Plagueis kind of got him on board with him, and to see how that might have led to Palpatine coming into the mix. But unfortunately, I guess we're not going to get a season 2 to really get, The other thing that really surprised me was they killed basically the whole cast off by the end of the first season.
Yeah.
Usually you have these characters, you're starting to try to get invested in them. You start getting invested in them, and then all of a sudden they kill them off. Like that, the young Padawan, that young girl.
No, was it Jackie? Yeah, Jackie.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Seeing her killed off of me, she seemed like she had a lot of potential. She just was a very interesting character that you would have loved. I would have loved to see develop more. Same with the young Jedi with the dreadlocks.
Yeah.
I can't remember their names.
Yeah. Oh, I can't. Oh, yeah, I can't think of his name either. It was there, and then I lost it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Did you recognize the girl, the Jackie?
The actress?
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
Did you happen to see that movie Logan from like 6 or 7 years ago?
I did not.
With Wolverine and as one. It was like an old Wolverine.
I did not see that.
Okay. She was in that. Like she was in that movie. She was a very important character in that movie. But a lot of people really discovered her from that movie, and then when they saw her in the Acolyte, they were expecting her to be a lot more like that character, and she kind of was, but then she, she met a very, very perforated end.
Yeah, it was unexpected. I think that was part of the fun though of watching the season was like, oh, did I freeze
for a minute?
Okay. But I think that was part of the fun of seeing who was going to get axed next. You know what I mean? Even Master Soul finally got it. Now that really threw me. I was like, whoa, when Osha actually found out the reality about how Soul actually played the role in killing her mother or one mother, and then her be turning she went from this light-sided person to she just became dark, super fast, and then just like murdered the guy in cold blood. Yeah. But, I mean, I guess if you found out that somebody that you really deeply, truly loved and cared about killed a family member, and then lied about it the entire time, basically made you feel like maybe somehow you were responsible or something, it would make sense. She just she snapped.
Right. And Soul he almost kind of knew that his end was coming. So I think he kind of gave in to her as well. Like, you kind of, I kind of recall him giving her a look, like saying it's okay. Like, like he accepted his fate because I think he could see that she was tortured, but knew that she was too far gone at the same time. Like she was still a little conflicted, but I think whenever he gave her that look, like, I deserve this.
No, I agree. I think that he definitely had a lot of remorse, but I didn't like that the Green Lady covered it all up. Again, another one I can't remember the name of.
Yeah, that's Vernestra Rowe.
There you go. Okay, yeah, I don't know. It just goes against the whole, the Jedi thing that we've known about them being honorable and stuff like that. But again, like we said earlier, it was nice how that played into. It wasn't just these corrupt senators that brought down the downfall of the Republic. It was the Jedi were involved in it too.
Yeah, and it's almost like the more entwined the Jedi Order got with the Republic, that's what it ultimately was. The downfall was them becoming part of the political machine, essentially.
Absolutely, I agree. And then obviously the big reveal at the end of the season was she was going in to talk to Yoda, but we don't know what she was going to talk to Yoda about.
No, and I don't think we ever will.
I don't think so. And that sucks because I actually, as much criticism as it got, it was actually very interesting. It looked beautiful. It had an interesting story going on. Obviously, for me being an identical twin, the twin arc, connected with me, and seeing them being split apart basically for so long and being without each other, that would be traumatizing for a twin. You know what I mean? So, and then I can't remember what happened to May. Didn't they wipe her memory? Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, and then Osha essentially took her place.
Right.
As Kamir's acolyte.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame, but at the same time, I guess, I mean, aside from the reveal at the end about Yoda, we really did get a full story. So I guess it's okay that it ended. I mean,
yeah, I mean, it would, season 2 would be almost a complete reboot.
Yeah, I would have watched more, but but now it's like I don't care that we're not getting more. I do, but I don't. Like, I would have wanted to see more. I would have watched more, but eh.
I got you.
Yeah.
It's done. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. So, I mean, we've got movies coming out in the next couple years. We've got at least, we've got Skeleton Crew coming out later in 2024 around December, which, actually, why not? Let's talk about Skeleton Crew, because we did have a trailer that came out probably about a month ago, I think, is when the trailer came out, maybe a little longer. I definitely thought I definitely like the idea of the show. It kind of gives off that almost that Goonies or E.T. in space vibe, or even like Flight of the Navigator, right? Just like a kid venture movie, very, very, very much like early Spielberg and like Amblin Entertainment. It gives off that impression, like. It's basically Goonies in space is what I'm kind of thinking,
Oh, yeah. You're not the only person who said that online. Other people have made that same comparison. Oh, Padme's back.
Yes, she is.
Yes. The funny thing was, when I first saw the trailer, I didn't realize that I was watching a trailer. At first, I thought I was watching like a ad for Tomorrowland in Disney World. Just the way that it looked like a community that they would show in like from the 2050s or something. Previewed it in Tomorrowland at Disney World. So It took me a second. I'm like, oh, okay, so this is what I'm watching. And it also reminds me of, and other people have said this too, but as being a Trekkie and now watching Star Trek Prodigy, I definitely see some similarities. You got these younger people coming together. They find a derelict ship is what it was.
Yep.
They said they thought it was a temple, but some sort of Jedi ship or whatever. And then they go off on these adventures. It's very similar. And then they find a Jedi, actually, who's going to kind of be their mentor. And it's very similar to the plot line of Star Trek Prodigy, where these child prisoners find a Starfleet ship and then they go off on adventures. And they have a mentor, basically, but it's a hologram of Captain Janeway.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely some similarities for sure.
Oh, yeah. And I'm not saying that they robbed the story or anything. It's just similar.
Yeah.
In what it is.
Yeah. I'm interested to see, like, and I'm sure we're going to get a more, probably get a longer trailer, something that gives us a little bit more idea of what the story is. But the one thing that you do not really get from that teaser trailer that was released a month ago is where the show takes place, like in the timeline of Star Wars. And from what I understand, because it's Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, it does take place in the Mandalorian timeline. So it's around the same time as Din Djarin and Grogu are making their way through the world. So I wonder what the connection's going to be, or if there are going to be any connections to the Mandalorian.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, I was going to ask you if you knew what time period, but I guess it's a little nebulous right now.
It's very nebulous unless you've actually, looked at some of the behind the scenes or interviews and articles and stuff. But yeah, the trailer doesn't give you any indication of when the show takes place.
Yeah, but it's real. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. It's something different that we really haven't seen before.
Yeah.
And you were right. I was wondering when they were showing the classroom and everything, was that, well, the planet clearly wasn't Coruscant if they were in like some sort of like what is it, a suburban neighborhood, essentially. So it's certainly not Coruscant, but that'll be fun. Maybe we'll get to see some new planets we've never seen before and different environments. But that Star Wars has always been good for that in any project they've done.
Right.
So yeah, so it's going to be exciting. It's going to be something different. It's not going to be along the same lines of stuff. So I can't wait.
December 3rd. Yes, December 3rd. I want to know a little bit more about the story. Like,
and I can see we have a droid. We have a droid character that's going to be a regular.
Well, I mean, we can't have a new Star Wars show without a new droid, right?
Exactly. What was the last one? In Ahsoka, we had what's his name? Hu Yang?
Hu Yang and Ahsoka. Yep. Didn't really have a droid in the... Well, yeah, I guess we didn't really have much of a droid in the Acolyte. We had Basil, the tracker,
Mhm.
The Jedi, little, like, whatever he was.
Mhm. Oh, what about that little thing that OSHA had?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That's right. I forgot about that.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I
so I
guess
guess
they're
that
not.
was the droid character.
Yeah, I guess they're not making a toy of that one.
No. Hmm.
Like Lola.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, see, that I would love to get another season of Kenobi. I think there's definitely more of a story that could be told, and I know Ewan McGregor is definitely on board. Like, he
Mhm.
would come back.
Oh, absolutely. They've been talking about that online for about a week now. That there
Yeah.
are rumors that they're planning. They're thinking of ideas.
Yeah, but I don't know if I'd want to see another season of Obi-Wan without young Leia, though.
Hmm.
Like, she was
That's
part of
true.
what I really loved about that show, and it was such a shock, when she was introduced in that first episode.
Hmm. Absolutely. It'd be fun to see a little bit more of Luke, though. But I don't think really Luke and Obi-Wan had any real interaction before A New Hope.
Not really, no.
It wouldn't fit.
Yeah. I mean,
Mhm.
Luke only has to know who Ben is and not really know much about him.
Yeah, he just said he's just some old hermit that lives beyond the Dune Sea.
Yep.
So it wouldn't make sense. But you're right. If they could find a really good story and then get him and Hayden Christensen reunited again,
Yeah.
that would be great. Do you think there'll be a season 2 of Ahsoka?
Oh, it's already been confirmed. There is going to be a
Oh, it
season
is?
2. Dave Filoni is writing it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when we'll see it start filming or any of that, I have no idea. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it'll be
Okay.
interesting to see. We've got Ezra made it home, and Thrawn. Did they? Yeah, they made it in. Yeah, didn't Thrawn make it back to the Star Wars galaxy?
I believe so. I believe he did.
Yeah, but Ahsoka and Sabine are stuck in the other galaxy.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then they got to find. I hope that they have some really good story, and I hope they find the right actor to fill. What was that gentleman's name?
Balin. Oh, geez.
The actor.
Ray Stevens. Ray Stevenson. Yeah, Ray Stevenson. Yeah.
Okay.
Ray Stevens was a singer.
Hey, that's okay. But I mean, he's going to be very hard to beat. He created an amazing character that makes you want to learn more about him. But isn't there something like they're going to be another Tales of the Jedi or Tales of the Empire or whatever that tells some of his story? I've
not seen anything that confirms that that's actually taking place. I want to say that the original poster and I've seen it shared around on social media. I want to say that was an AI created poster, so I don't think it's actually real.
Okay, doggone it.
Yeah,
that would have been interesting. I mean, animation's the perfect way to tell that backstory.
Heck yeah.
But all right, it is what it is. Maybe we'll luck out.
Who knows? Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, whoever they recast him with, he's got some big shoes to fill, definitely. Oh, your cat came back. Done chowing down, right? You over there licking her lips.
Yep.
Yep.
So you see how quickly she jumps up and just makes herself known.
Oh yeah. Once chow time's over, it's back to daddy.
Yep. This is why we call this aggressive negotiations, huh, Padme?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who came up with that?
What?
Who came up with that? You or your wife?
Which, the aggressive negotiations, or?
Yeah.
It was me. Yeah.
You did. Okay.
Well, at first I called them attack nuzzles, and then I realized it was right there all along. Aggressive negotiations.
Mm-hmm. It's perfect. That's good. There's nothing better than a love of a cat, honestly.
Yep. And Ahsoka's the feisty one, so she definitely has the Snips persona and mentality that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you named them perfectly. Very good.
Oh yeah, they definitely fit right in. Like, we had no idea when we first got them and named them what their personalities were going to be like, and it's just it's incredible that they just fit right in. And
absolutely. So I've been meaning to ask you, since Steel City Con is a month and a half away.
Yeah,
we got some Star Wars voice actors coming.
You'll have to refresh me on the cast, the guest list. I honestly haven't been keeping up with it.
Really? Well, Ashley Eckstein, I think is that's her name, right?
Yes.
Ahsoka.
Yes.
I think she's coming. not D. Bradley Baker was already there, but the guy who voiced Anakin, Matt something.
Matt Lanter.
I think he's coming too.
Okay.
And there might be a third one. I can't remember. But I know how much of a fan of Ahsoka you are. Is that somebody that you want to meet? Maybe get up with?
I've met her twice.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I've met her twice. Kylie's met her once.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I met her for the first time back in 2015 when Kylie and I went to Star Wars weekends at Walt Disney World. And that turned out to be the last year they had Star Wars weekends because it was a year after Disney had agreed to purchase Lucasfilm.
Mm-hmm.
They decided to instead of having Star Wars weekends, they decided to go and build Galaxy's Edge in the two parks.
Oh, okay. Now, is this different than when you guys went to Star Wars Celebration? Is that two different things? Okay.
Yes. Star Wars Celebration is kind of like the Creation Star Trek Las Vegas or, Star Trek, their conventions. It's the big Star Wars official convention.
Right.
Where Star Wars Weekends was just basically something that Disney would do in, I want to say, May and June, and they would just have Star Wars actors and voice actors and Star Wars. They would have different shows, like, Warwick Davis would come and do his one-man show, and then James Arnold Taylor, that voices Obi-Wan in the Clone Wars show, he was often there every year, or most of the years. He did a one-man show where he just basically went through all the different celebrity impersonations and voices that he can do. It's just like, it's a really cool show. It was called, when he did it at Star Wars Weekends, it was Obi-Wan and Beyond. But I know on YouTube, like when he would do it on his own, like it was Talking to Myself is what he would call his solo show when it wasn't affiliated with Star Wars Weekends.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. So are you two ever planning to go back to Star Wars Celebration?
I would like to. I just, man, conventions, like even Steel City Con, I am worn out after 2 days there. And it's not nearly as long or has as much to do as Star Wars Celebration does. I don't know if I could. I just don't know if my old self could handle.
You don't know if you have the energy.
Yeah, I don't know if I have the energy anymore, and I know Kylie, it would be a struggle for her.
Sure. No, I gotcha. Yeah, Brandy and I are the same way. Especially after Steel City Con, like you're walking around for hours and you're seeing the same stuff over and over, and it's kind of like, okay, enough's enough. It is. It can be draining. Now, if you have a lot of people, a lot of things to do, like going and getting photographs or things like that, that might make you keep it active and keep you going. But then when you leave, you crash at the end of the night.
Right.
So, but no, I agree with that. Now, my wife and I are talking about going to Star Trek Las Vegas in 2026 for the 60th anniversary convention.
Okay.
Don't know if it's going to happen or not. I'd like to. I'm going to try to see if I can get my twin brother and my younger brother to go as well. We'll see. But that's a big one I don't want to miss. We were at the 50th anniversary one in 2016. That was a blast, so I'm hoping that would be something to do. She wants to go see New Kids on the Block, though, first. They're having a, what do they call those?
A residency.
A residency, in Las Vegas.
Yeah,
starting
that's what,
year.
20... Yeah, I was going to say that's 2025, isn't it?
And then they actually increased it into February of 2026.
Oh, nice. Nice. Now that probably wouldn't overlap with Star Trek.
No, not at all. She said if we go, she's going to want to go in like June or July of 2025.
Okay.
So I don't know if you guys would want to go to that, or if Kylie even knew it was happening, or.
Yeah, I'm sure she knows. Yeah, I don't know. Oof, June or July in Vegas? Oof. I guess it's pretty consistently the same temperature year round, isn't it, though?
Pretty much. And I mean, I've been the Vegas conventions are usually in beginning of August. So 111, 112, we've already dealt with it. Yeah. It's actually not bad because there's no humidity.
Yeah, that's true. So
it's like a 80-some degree weather day here with high humidity. It's just not as sweaty,
No, good to know. And I've still never been to Vegas. I think Kylie's been once.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you got to go. It's a blast. It's great. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know in 2026, we're going to go on an Alaskan cruise. I think we've decided that that's what we're going to do because it'll be Kylie's 45th and some friends that we travel with often. They're celebrating their 50th birthdays.
Mm-hmm. Very nice. That'd be great.
Yeah.
That'll be definitely a nice trip, and it probably won't be as draining as going to a convention and walking around.
Right.
You know, you guys can actually relax.
Yep. And I think we're gonna have a good time with that.
Cool. Good.
All right. The only other thing that really I wanted to discuss this week or on this episode is we recently had a trailer released for the 5th and final season of Star Trek Lower Decks. It's going to be interesting to see how they decide to wrap up the show because I know they're really. I mean, there's been character growth, but not really a ton because it's more of it is more of an animated comedy. So a lot of times it's about the bit, about the humor than it is the character development. I just wonder what the end game is going to be for this crew.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, are they gonna have it where they actually have a definitive ending, or is it going to be like Next Generation ending where it was just kind of like they were still together and the show just ended?
Yeah,
and open it up for other things going on in the future. Hopefully they give them a really good send off. Some sort of closure. But who knows? Who knows what they're going to do? That watching the trailer, it was super fast paced. Mm-hmm. So all I saw was just a lot of action sequence and it was going very fast. So I couldn't really pick out much, except obviously they have the scene where they're in decon, like with Enterprise, and they have the decon gel.
There's Ahsoka.
Oh, here's Ahsoka. Hi, Ahsoka.
There's the other one.
She looks like she just woke up.
Who knows what she was doing?
Yeah. Oh, that's good. It's always good to see the pets come in. That's really cool. But yeah, so I don't really it doesn't look like, I don't know if there's going to be a underlying story arc going on like there was last season with, what was it, Nicholas Locarno and that Genesis device and his little group of people that he had turning and going for whatever he wanted. So I don't know if there's going to be an overarching story, if it's going to be pretty much standalone, but that decon part was really fun. Of course, they had to throw in the part about T'Pol being in there. So, I mean, but that's what they've always been good on that show, is throwing in the little Easter eggs and the little things that fans would want to say, but never the characters actually say. So that'll be really neat. And then there's the ensign, well, should I say Lieutenant Kim thing. I'm very curious about. So there was Lieutenant Kim, but is that really our Ensign Kim, or is that a duplicate, or like what is there? Are all these Kims?
Yeah. Why are there like 50 Kims in that room?
Exactly, and all in different uniforms.
Right.
But having Garrett Wong back is going to be a lot of fun. I think I read an article just a couple days ago that said he's been wanting to be on the show, and now it's finally happening, and he's super excited about it.
Yeah.
So that'll be nice.
That's always been such a topic in the fandom is, why did he never get promoted beyond Ensign? Mm-hmm. He always got just poor Ensign Kim. He just consistently got overlooked time and time again.
Exactly.
So, of course, Lower Decks is going to use that opportunity to, to have a bit and have a segment or even an entire episode dedicated to Harry Kim.
Exactly. And that's good. I mean, it fits right into the mold because Lower Decks has tried to answer a lot of those fan questions and revisit that stuff. So that's going to be great. So it looks like it's going to be a good season. And it premieres the 24th of October, if I remember correctly.
I think you're right. Yeah. It's not too far away.
Mm-hmm. So I think that'll be something fun for us to look forward to about reviewing coming up.
Yeah, definitely. Now, did you finish all of season 4 or? I've
watched most of it. I haven't watched it in a while. I actually just bought it on Blu-ray.
Nice.
At Barnes. What's that? Barnes and Noble. I got 50% off. So I'm going to rewatch it and just kind of refresh before the new season. I'll watch it. But how about you? What did you think of the trailer?
I thought it was a really good trailer. I thought the Harry Kim stuff is hilarious, and I can't wait to see if we get it. Like I said, if we get an entire episode featuring Harry Kim or what it's going to be. I'm excited to for that, because like I said, that's always been it's been such a a topic of discussion in fandom for so long is for Harry Kim. But yeah, like you, I wonder if they're going to get a definitive end, like a satisfying end. I mean, I certainly can't see. Oh, geez. Why am I drawing a blank on her name? Not
Character.
Not Boimler, but
Mariner.
Mariner, yes. Gosh, I can't believe I just completely blanked on Mariner's name. Yeah, I can't foresee her having much of a getting promoted, getting her own ship type. That's definitely not her character. But how do you write an end for a character who thrives on being insubordinate, right?
Yes, and loves chaos.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that it's going to be interesting. I can't see this being the end of this crew. There's fans really are responding to this show. I mean, to be honest with you, I'm surprised it's even being canceled. But I don't know if it's getting too expensive or they're just changes, at Paramount Plus. I don't know what's going on, but I can't see this is going to be the end. Maybe even if they have some like movie specials or something on Paramount Plus, little mini series or something coming up with it, But I'd rather see Lower Decks continuing on than this Starfleet Academy in Section 31. To be honest, I am a little intrigued with Starfleet Academy. I am watching that trailer that I saw for Section 31. I think it's a bunch of BS. It doesn't feel like Star Trek to me at all.
Well, it's a movie, right? It's not even going to be a show.
Yeah, it's going to be a movie. Thankfully, it's all. It's to me, Section 31 is the antithesis of what Star Trek and Starfleet and the Federation are all supposed to be about. I know that there are these dark things and stuff like that. I think it's gotten too glorified in Star Trek now, and it's just I don't understand this thing of wanting to take Star Trek so dark.
Right.
It was supposed to, the whole thing is based on a positive outlook on the future, not the dirty doings going on in the galaxy.
Yeah, but at the same time, I guess I see where they're coming from. It's a way for them to be prepared for what may be coming after the Federation, because they time and time again, Section 31 has helped save humanity from some catastrophic event or save Starfleet from catastrophic events. So I guess they have a purpose, but
yeah. Well, we'll see. I mean, I'm going to give it a shot. I don't want to be one of those fans that like goes in negative and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not thrilled about the idea of it, but I mean, I'm willing to give it a shot. And if I might really like it, who knows?
Yeah.
But
I just want to see more of Michelle Yeoh as Georgiou, because she's consistently was my favorite character in Discovery.
I mean, she's a good actress. There's no denying that.
Yeah.
Interesting character, so.
She's one of my favorites. Like, just as an actress, she is absolutely one of my all-time favorites. Like, I love seeing her pop up everywhere.
Sure. Yeah. And I mean, she you could tell she enjoyed the role too. She was like really deliciously into it.
Yeah, she really puts herself into everything.
Exactly. Yeah, you can tell when somebody's wooden or boring, and in this case, it wasn't, and she really loved the character. So, yeah, good for her.
Yeah. What else? Anything else in fandom that
I do know that the Star Trek Explorer magazine is going to be concluding.
I'm not even familiar with that one.
Yeah, it was originally called Star Trek the Magazine, and it's been around for at least 30 years.
Okay.
It started in the UK. And then after the Star Trek Communicator magazine ended, they started having issues coming over here in the US. And then about maybe 2 years ago, they changed the name to Star Trek Explorer. And then they started back with here. It was issue 1, issue 2, and so forth. I don't remember exactly why they're ending it, but in December, the last issue will be out. So that really sucks. Because I wanted, it's kind of like, could you imagine if Star Wars Insider folded?
Right.
You know?
I just think the print industry in general is
Mhm.
becoming a thing of the past because
Mhm.
everything is obtained online, and
Mhm.
it's a shame. But
Mhm.
like so many print magazines have folded because
Mhm.
there's just the number of subscribers doesn't even make enough to offset the cost
Mhm.
of the magazine itself.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that played the big part of the whole thing, and we're watching that die. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, I hate it because I remember getting the Star Trek, the official fan club magazine in the mail as a kid. You know, every other month the issue would be out, and we'd be so excited. And my twin brother and I would take turns. One month he would read it first, and I'd have to struggle and wait until he was done. And then the next time it was reversed. You know,
Mhm.
and then we'd be bothering each other. Are you done reading it yet? It's my turn. You know, one of those kind of things. So it was always fun to get those. And, you know, so seeing that die, I never got the Explorer in the mail. I got it at the newsstand, but you know, it sucks to see another Star Trek magazine folding.
Yeah, and it's I can't tell you the last time I subscribed to a magazine.
Mm-hmm.
I get a quarterly. Oh, there is one quarterly magazine I get called Delish, and it's like recipes and drinks and stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
that's really the only print magazine that I get.
Mm-hmm.
I used to get Game Informer back when that was a thing, but
Mm-hmm.
even that's gone. Like that used to
Wow.
be like that was the gaming magazine that you could get at GameStop, and
Oh, okay.
it's they are done. They stopped publishing the magazine
Mm-hmm. What
earlier
about
this year.
wow? I guess it makes sense. What about Nintendo Power? Does that still exist, or is that long gone?
I think that's gone too.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That was like a big magazine for a long time. I remember growing up. Oh, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah,
Oh,
sorry.
okay.
Yeah, let's see. 2000, the final issue of Nintendo Power was released in 2012.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Okay.
They had brought it back in 2017 as a podcast, which I actually did listen to for a while, and it shut down in 2023. So
Oh,
Nintendo
okay.
Power in any form is now a thing of the past.
That sucks. Then I guess, yeah. I mean, it's all things are either gonna go digital or they're just gonna fade.
Yep. It's a shame, but
Mhm. Yeah,
oh
I guess
well.
in a way they were replaced by podcasts. I guess that
Yeah,
would be, yeah. It's just the new generation. That's all.
right.
So, yeah,
I mean, you've got Hollywood celebrities doing podcasts of their own now, so
exactly. Yep.
that's how you know that's how you know that podcasts are probably going to go away soon. Is when all the celebrities start
Yep.
doing it.
Exactly. Yep. You're right. So, all righty. I think that's all the news that's been going on.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
yeah. So,
All right. All right. I think that's going to do it for this episode of Captain's Logs and Lightsabers. I think we've hit a lot of what's been going on in our fandoms for the last 5 months since we last recorded. We have some new stuff to look forward to. So yeah, I think the last 3 months of the year are going to be pretty good for us as fans of Star Trek and Star Wars.
absolutely. You know, what would be really fun too is if you and I did a 30th anniversary review of Star Trek Generations.
Okay. What
That's November 18th.
November. Okay, you know what? That is probably the only Star Trek movie I've only seen once.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, you
So,
have to refresh before you. Oh, because they're moving the Star Trek movies off of Paramount Plus.
because of
And
course
moving them
they
to
are.
Max. Again, yes.
Where are they going? Do we know?
Max.
Max. Okay, I have that.
Do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I have them all on physical media, DVD and Blu-ray, so I'm good.
yep, exactly. Hey,
You
physical
know?
media forever.
Exactly.
It's, you know,
Yep.
you never have to worry about chasing it from one streaming service to another.
Exactly. So, yeah.
All right. So, yeah, until our next episode, may the Force be with you.
And live long and prosper.